This is the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast, daily intelligence for serious e-commerce portfolio builders across Amazon, TikTok Shop, Shopify, Walmart, and every channel that moves the needle. Neil Twa and his Voltage team all day, every day since 2012. Let's get into it.
Hope your Saturday is off to a great start wherever you're tuning in from. This is episode 285 of the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast, and I'm your host, Neil Twa. So here's something that almost made me spit out my coffee this week. I was reviewing a deal with a seller who had a genuinely good business, solid product, strong reviews, real revenue, and the acquirer walked. Not because of the product, not because of the category, because the financials looked like a college student's first spreadsheet. Commingled personal expenses, no add-back documentation. 3 different ways the same revenue line got recorded over 18 months. The buyer wasn't confused. The buyer was done. If you've ever thought about selling your business someday, this episode is for you, even if someday is 3 years from now. Look, clean financials are not some fancy exit prep project you hand off to an accountant 2 weeks before you list your business. They are the foundation of what your business is actually worth. And I've watched sellers leave serious money on the table or lose a deal entirely because they never treated their books like a buyer was going to read them. Here's what actually kills deals in the $500,000 to $5 million acquisition range. Not bad products, not algorithm changes, messy money. I've been in this space for over 20 years. I left a corporate W-2 at IBM in 2007 and built businesses from scratch. I've seen the inside of enough P&Ls to know when a seller has been running personal expenses through the business. And I can tell you, buyers see it too, immediately. A gym membership buried in operating expenses, a family vacation coded as a trade show, a vehicle that may or may not have ever touched the business. These things don't just look sloppy, they look dishonest. And once a buyer feels that, the trust is gone, the multiple drops, or the deal dies. There are 3 specific problems that kill more deals than anything else in this range. First one is commingled personal and business expenses. You've been running your business for 3 years, and somewhere along the way, it became easier to just use one account for everything. I get it. I've seen it. It's a nightmare to unwind, and it signals to an acquirer that you don't run a real business. You run a bank account with a Shopify store attached. Second is an inconsistent chart of accounts. This one sounds boring. It is also where deals quietly die. If your revenue is categorized 3 different ways across 3 fiscal years, a buyer's accountant is going to flag that on day 1 of due diligence. And then every number in your deck is suspect. Third is undocumented add-backs. Add-backs are legitimate. Buyers expect them. But if you're telling a buyer, yeah, I was paying myself a salary that was above market, you can add that back, you better have documentation for that. A number on a spreadsheet with no backup is not an add-back. It's a guess. And buyers don't pay a premium for guesses. This is fixable, all of it. But you have to start before you're ready to sell, not after. I'll give you 2 sellers I've worked with directly. First one, let's call him Marcus. He was doing somewhere around $40,000 a month in revenue. 2 private label brands on Amazon, one of them with some Walmart traction. Came to me wanting to understand what his business was worth. Smart guy, good operator. But when I asked for a profit and loss statement, what he sent me was a bank export with color-coded rows. That was the P&L, no chart of accounts, personal cell phone bill in there. His wife's car payment, a recurring charge for a streaming service, I'm pretty sure had nothing to do with his supplement brand. He wasn't trying to hide anything. He just never separated it. And he'd been doing it for 4 years. Here's what that cost him. About 6 months of cleanup work before his books were presentable to a buyer. 6 months of going back through transactions, recategorizing, getting documentation together, building a proper add-back schedule. 6 months he could have avoided if he'd set this up right from year 1. His multiple ended up fine, but he was delayed, stressed, and left wondering how much higher it could have been with a cleaner track record. Second seller, different situation entirely. She was earlier stage, closer to $12,000 a month. She wasn't selling yet, but she came through our community asking about exit prep. Smart question for where she was in the journey. She had a bookkeeper, she had QuickBooks, she had a real chart of accounts. She just had one problem. Her add backs weren't documented anywhere. We walked through it together. Owner salary above replacement cost? Documented. One-time legal expense from a supplier dispute? Documented. Software she canceled after the audit? Documented. Clean add-back schedule, signed off, sitting in a folder, ready for any buyer conversation. That's the difference. One seller was reactive, one was building for the exit from the start. You see the gap, right? Same approximate business size, completely different levels of buyer confidence.
Are you AI ready in your business? AI only multiplies the foundation you've already built. Don't 10x garbage into your business. 10x your profit. Score your gaps in 60 seconds. Find out how ready you are. Visit voltagedm.com/AI quiz and take the free readiness quiz. And now, back to the podcast.
All right, 3 moves. These work whether you're at $8,000 a month or $800,000 a month. Move 1. Separate everything. Today, not next quarter. If you are running personal expenses through your business account, that stops now. Open a dedicated business checking account if you haven't already. Get a business credit card that is only for business. This is the most basic thing, and it is also the most commonly ignored. I know it feels like a hassle. It is less of a hassle than explaining a commingled expense report to a skeptical acquirer who is about to wire you $1 million. Move 2. Standardize your chart of accounts and do not touch the categories once you set them. Pick a structure that matches how your category gets evaluated. If you sell physical products on Amazon, your COGS, your ad spend, your storage fees, your prep costs, all of those need their own lines. Consistent. Every month. Every year. When a buyer's CPA pulls 3 years of data, they should see the same structure every time. This one's boring. It is also where the money is. A clean, consistent chart of accounts is one of the fastest ways to build buyer confidence without saying a single word. Move 3. Build your add-back schedule now and keep it updated. Every legitimate expense that a new owner won't have, write it down. Date it. Amount. Category. One sentence explaining why it's an add-back. Owner salary above replacement rate. One-time legal fees. A piece of equipment you expense that a buyer would capitalize. Anything that inflates your costs above what a buyer would actually carry. Document it now. Update it quarterly. When a buyer asks, you hand it over in 30 seconds. I know, nobody wants to do this until they have to. Do it anyway. Future you will be grateful, and so will your multiple. Here's the thing about exits. The sellers who get the best multiples are not always the ones with the flashiest revenue numbers. They're the ones who made the buyer feel safe. Clean books make buyers feel safe. Documented add-backs make buyers feel safe. A consistent financial history that holds up under 3 months of due diligence, that is what closes deals. I've spent 13 years at Voltage helping sellers build businesses that are worth something when it's time to hand them off. We don't just help you grow revenue, we help you build an actual asset. Something a buyer looks at and says, this is real, this is clean, I want this. That's the work. If you're somewhere between, I'm thinking about this eventually, and I need to sell in the next 18 months, now is the time to get your financials in order, not 2 weeks before you list. Now, the best place to start is understanding where you actually stand. We put together a free resource at voltagedm.com that gives you a real look at what your business might be worth and what's holding it back. Go check it out, take the quiz, get a real answer. And if you're earlier in the journey and you want to start building the right way from the beginning, we'd love to talk. 13 years of operator-led experience means we've seen what works and what costs sellers money at the worst possible time. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday with me. This is the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast, episode 285. Go clean up your books. Seriously. I'll see you next week. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're trying to figure out where AI actually fits in your business and where to invest before bolting it on top, head over to voltagedm.com/AI quiz. 5 questions, 60 seconds, a personalized AI readiness score, and an instant foundation gap report. Built for operators, not AI tourists. We'll be back tomorrow with another edge. Until then, stay high voltage.